I would like... We have a major dump in West Wicklow, and Wicklow County Council has to clean it up. Where's the money coming from? A lot of people suspect it'll come from cutting back on services in County Wicklow over the next 6 years or so. There was a special meeting to discuss the implications of the court case that said Wicklow County Council were found guilty of illegal dumping, and this was in the High Court, and they have to just clean it all up. Well, at this special meeting, one councillor came out in public after it, Councillor Tom Fortune, Independent, and he said the whole thing was a complete waste of time, and he said that the inner sanctum took over. We're on the quest of the inner sanctum this morning. Tom, what is the inner sanctum?
Good morning, Declan, and good morning to your listeners. The inner sanctum, Declan, is a term I put in place about 2012, I suppose, or sometime around that. And an inner sanctum is it's an organisational term. It's where in an organisation you have person or persons who, generally speaking, control, when necessary, the outcome of a particular meeting. The problem I have with it is that it pertains, in my opinion, very strongly in Wicklow County Council. And the key issue with it is that it interferes with full democracy.
And are we talking councillors? Are we talking management?
Well, see, the only way the inner sanctum in an organisation like Wicklow County Council will work will be if you have a number of councillors who partake in it. Obviously, it needs the cooperation of a certain amount of councillors and working in tandem with officials. In other words, I've said to you before, Declan, on your programme, that if this morning, if you and I decided to talk about a topic and it was coming up next Monday in Wicklow County Council, by and large, you could nearly forecast that the vote will be 21-11 or 2013 or 2012 or something like that. You could almost call that vote. And if people want to challenge that and want to disbelieve that, I would strongly suggest that they, if they have the time, is to go back over minutes of Wicklow County Council's meetings and go back over the transcripts when the transcripts were being put out on air and have a look and see it for themselves.
So what are the councillors who've been elected by the people of County Wicklow, what are they getting out of it?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are they getting something out of it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know, and I'm not making any innuendo in that way at all. I'm just saying it's the way the organisation is managed and run. And to put
the organisation between management and councillors?
Executive and councillors, yes.
So do you think there's a cosy little arrangement between certain members of management and certain councillors?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
To what end?
Obviously to make sure that certain scenarios that come up for discussion that might be awkward from an executive perspective or something doesn't get out of hand. For example, I said to you on your programme this week that the meeting last Monday, I personally, my personal view, my personal opinion is it was a waste of time. I certainly wasted my day because nothing came out of it. And if people want to get the transcript of the meeting to check what I am saying and read it, they will see the trend of what I'm talking about. At a given moment in the meeting, a number of councillors came in with certain kind of defined remarks and statements that kind of wrapped things up, let's get on with it, there's no real issue here, kind of approach. And I just think that's wrong. And as I said to you a moment ago, my concern with it is that I think it stops proper full democracy happening.
All right, well, let's hear from a councillor who was the Clllrs up to recently. Edward Timmins is the Clllrs at the moment, but who chaired the meetings over the last year, and that is Councillor Pat Fitzgerald. Good morning, Pat. Oh, Pat is just off the line there for a second. So we'll just get Pat in a second for that. Inner sanctum.
Yeah.
Inner sanctum suggests that they maybe that the management and certain councillors came together initially to think up a strategy for these meetings.
Well, I think the inner sanctum, Declan, has been alive and well for a long number of years. I think it was alive and well before I became a county councillor. So I just think it's the way the system works. I believe myself that Wicklow County Council is a microcosm of the whole system. And I just think somebody has to call it out. I'm sure they will come at me and they'll challenge me and they'll try and discredit.
Yeah, well, it's a serious allegation. Let's see if Pat Fitzgerald is there. Hold on. Pat, are you there? Pat, are you there? I don't know. We seem to be losing Pat on the the digital line coming in from Arklow. Just finish what you were saying.
So what was I saying?
That you said that it's bad for democracy that there's people there with an agenda of some sort.
No, I didn't say that.
But that's what you're implying.
No, I know what I'm implying. But there is a cosy arrangement whereby on certain issues that have come up in the council, that certain members in the council will automatically take control of the meeting in tandem with some of the executive. And normally you end up with a situation where you go down into the chamber to discuss a very serious issue that affects the citizens of this county. And you come out of the meeting with nothing achieved and nothing agreed. And you say, what the hell was that all about?
Has it been on other issues apart from the dump?
Absolutely, yeah.
Like what?
Oh, well, there was a famous... obviously, there was issues around the fire. A number of us voted no confidence in a chief executive on a number of occasions. It evolved around that. It evolved around the AGM of 2014. There was an awful lot of... what I would call organisational corruption going on at that particular meeting.
Corruption?
Yes, and...
Organisational corruption? Or is that different than corruption?
Well, see, Declan, when people talk about corruption, they always think in terms of finance.
But it could be PACs. I mean, I could say to you, oh, that's a corruption in Wicklow County Council because they always know who's going to be Clllrs the next time.
No, that's true.
There's sort of a little meeting on the side now to decide who it is. And we'll rotate this and rotate that.
Yeah, no, that happens, and that's fine. What's that?
That's the same thing.
It's not, no, it's not.
Pat Fitzgerald?
I'm finally here, Declan.
You're finally here, on the line.
Not my fault, by the way.
Well, I know that, yeah, but just something in the gremlins there, so I know you weren't avoiding anything, but Tom has made serious charges there. He's even used the word corruption there as well. But this inner sanctum, that a little cosy arrangement between certain councillors and certain members of management, and you were your chair for the last year, did you see any evidence of an inner sanctum conducting matters?
I didn't hear all Tom's... good morning, Tom.
Morning, Pat.
I didn't hear all Tom's, what he said there. But I can tell you, I can assure the listeners, when I was Clllrs of Wicklow County Council, there was no interference. I wasn't dictated to. I made my own mind up. I tried to treat all the councillors equally. And I am not aware. An inner sanctum, by definition, is a private place where someone is never interrupted, by the way. That's what I see. But I don't know of any inner sanctum. I do know, as Councillor Fortune knows from his days in the Labour Party, there are arrangements made between different parties when you come to the role. I think Councillor Fortune has alluded to that, when you come to the role of Clllrs, and that's Clllrs. But I don't know of anything, any collusion. Corruption, the word corruption was used there, I think, was it?
Yeah, just explain that, because we don't want. No. We're not talking. We're not talking brown envelopes, Tom.
No. Let's not take this. Let's not take this.
Let's get we better get the clarification of what you mean by corruption.
Sorry, Pat. But just before you came on, Declan was asking me about the word corruption came up in the context of organisation, and what I was about to say to Declan just before you came on was that normally when people talk about corruption, they are normally talking financial. But corruption can be organisational, it can be efficiency, corruption, it can be effectiveness. In 2014, and you'll be very familiar with this, in 2014, in the chamber, said to the council that there was organisational corruption going on that particular day. I subsequently followed it up with emails to the department and to the ethics group and everything else, and it just died a death. And that's what I was talking to Declan in that context. Because
I would take great umbrage at. And I'm a member of the council there, of any suggestion that there's anything wrong on my part, because I'm a member of the council, because you can admit, Councillor, I treated you with the same respect when I was chairman as Clllrs as I did every other member.
Did you have a meeting with members of the management to, in some way, Pat, have the conduct of the meeting to go a certain way?
No, I say, Declan, without fear of contradiction, I never was interfered with by anyone. As Councillor Fortune knows, when you are Clllrs or chairman of Wicklow County Council, you do meet the senior management on a more regular basis, right? But I can say that I never was asked to do anything or to dictate to anyone. And I'm saying that, and I believe I'm totally honest in what I'm saying there. I never, ever was interfered with, whether it's Lascahirlock or Cahirlock. And if I was, I think independently. I don't take advice I don't take advice as such when I'm able to make the decisions myself.
And were you aware of anybody meeting management or certain members of management to discuss the conduct of a future meeting?
I am not aware. I'm not aware. I had a difficult year there. There was a lot of issues raised, again, as Councillor Fortune knows there. But I was never interfered with. From the day I went into that job in June last year, I never got advice. I never took advice. It wasn't given to me to take. There was no interference whatsoever. And I'm saying that quite clearly. And I have total respect for all the councillors and all the management, but I never, ever was interfered with. And I really mean that, because I'm slightly peeved that any suggestion that that I'm talking for myself here, that I was dictated to or told to follow a certain line. It didn't happen. And when it came to the budget, Councillor Fortune knows, the councillors dictated the budget. There was no interference from management. There were proposals put before us and on other matters. And we have not a whip as such. I voted against things that some of my other party colleagues supported, and that's it. But I'm going to repeat, no one gave me direction. I didn't want it, I didn't need it, and I didn't get any. So I'm quite clear, and I want to be quite clear on that. While we do meet senior management, and meet more when you're Cahirlock or Vice Cahirlock, I had no interference whatsoever.
Okay, Tom, are you just disappointed that people didn't agree with your point of view?
Not at all, Declan. I'm a Democrat and I believe in democracy. And I'm not going to, I respect Pat Fitzgerald, but I'm not getting into individuals, because this is not about individuals. In actual fact, this is about the way things happen, the way things are done. And all I'm simply saying is, if people want to check what I'm saying, go back over the records, look at the meetings, look at the voting patterns.
Under Pat's...
No, Pat was only there for a year. This has been going on forever in Wicklow County Council.
Come on, Tom.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Declan. I'm sorry, Declan. It has.
Tom, you were chairman.
And I'll address that, Pat. When I was
2011.
When I was chairman.
Could I just say this?
Okay.
There was a pact there between Labour, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, right? We voted in it, but we weren't whipped to vote. On every vote, I don't vote the same as my colleagues, and I've done that recently. I just do what I think is right, and that's the way it is. On budgets, we do. There is agreement there on budgets, and people vote in the way that they feel. There are meetings. Yourself would have known this year what we were trying to achieve on discretionary spending, and we came up with an agreement and we voted on it. But I re-emphasise again, in case the view gets out there was no interference, and it I get sort of annoyed about that suggestion that there would be interference.
All right, I think
let me make the point.
We've talked it out.
Let me say lastly, if you permit me, I'm not getting into individuals on this, Declan, at all. This is the inner sanctum that I'm talking about is alive and well. It's been there for a long number of years, and
I have no evidence.
Well, Declan, if you want to spend another hour, we can go through all that. But all I'm saying is to the listeners to your show, and you've got many listeners, if they want to go and check the records, look at what the records show, they will show that what I'm saying is correct.
All right, well, Pat Fitzgerald finds no evidence, and in his year of office, he didn't see any evidence and didn't experience it, so...
That's fine, that's Pat's opinion.
Hello?
I said that was Pat's view. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, did you get interference when you were chairman?
When I was chairman, what I noticed very quickly when I became chairman was that the certain element in the executive moves in around you and tries to corral you and tries to control you and make sure you don't become too outspoken. And that's what I experienced.
You can't expect to be outspoken if you're the Clllrs.
Oh yes, you can. You're number one citizen in the county for a year, and you should.
You've got another 24 at the time.
I'm sorry, Declan. When you're number one citizen in County Wicklow, you should come out and say what needs to be said.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much indeed to both of you. Sorry for the technical issues at the start there, Pat.
I wasn't on the Arklow side, by the way. I was on the base.
All right, good man yourself.
Good luck, Pat. Take care.
Take care. Okay, that's Councillor Pat Fitzgerald Fianna Fáil in Arklow, just outgoing chairman there. Edward Timmins in New Kirloch, and independent Councillor Tom Fortune. Thanks, Tom. Okay, good morning to you. Our number here is 087 77 11 103. And just to clarify, the Councillor Fortune wasn't insinuating anything untowards when it came to that word corruption. All right, thanks very much indeed.
Call the Morning Show.